Hello everyone. As you can see, I have a very special little guest. Her name is Ginger. She is the love of my life. She's actually my boyfriend Tim's dog, but you know, she's kind of my dog too now. She's very sweet and she's just gonna hang out with us today while we talk about, you know, alopecia and my story. So yeah, that's actually why I'm here with you guys today. I have been saying for a couple weeks now that I'm going to post a video talking about my story with alopecia and kind of how I grew up with it and how I've grown from it and some of the experiences that I've had as far as, you know, growing up without hair. And I was really stressed out with work, and I also got sick with a really bad cold, so those were kind of the reasons why I just needed some time to decompress over the weekend. And now I'm here with you guys and I really want to share my story today. I'm very excited about it. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. It really means a lot to me that you guys want to learn more about what I've been through, who I am, and just be kind of educated a little bit more about alopecia and how it manifests. I really appreciate that you guys are here. Also, please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button down there, wherever it is. I'm definitely going to be posting more videos more often on makeup, social life, lifestyle, social justice, as well as, you know, more like vlog style videos where I kind of go on about how my life is going. So if you're interested in that content, please subscribe. Again, thank you so much for being here today, and let's get right into it. So the reason why I really wanted to share this story with you guys is because it's basically telling the story of how I came to be myself, how I found myself, how I became comfortable in my own skin. Because alopecia is the type of condition that really does encompass every aspect of your life, whether that's your social life, the way that you take care of yourself, your level of confidence. It has really affected all areas of my life, and even though today, now that I'm older, I've had it for a while, I don't necessarily think about my hair loss every second of every single day, but I do know that it has impacted me greatly, and that the way that I behave, the way that I work with my kids, you know, all of these different things is because of the fact that alopecia has shaped me into a specific type of person. So not only that, but I also think it's incredibly necessary to share my story so that others with alopecia, you know, like different conditions that make people feel different or like an outsider, maybe they'll be more comfortable to share their story as well, because we all need to be heard. We all have stories that need to be told, me included. And basically that's kind of I am definitely going to explain to you guys what alopecia is. I'm not going to sit here and expect you guys and have the expectation that you guys already know what it is. So I'm sure you're all asking, what is alopecia? And I'll have all sources listed down below where I got some of this information. Most of it is based on my own life experience, but some of the statistics and definitions and things like that did come from websites and things like that. So according to the Genetic and Rare Diseases Information Center, alopecia universalis, which is the kind that I have, they're broken down into different types of conditions, is a condition characterized by complete loss of hair on the scalp and body. It's an advanced form of alopecia areata, which is typically more known, and that form of the condition results in patchy hair loss. And I would say pretty much everyone who has alopecia universalis like I do started out with areata, which is patchy, moving on to totalis, which is total scalp hair loss, and then advancing to universalis, which is scalp, and then all body hair. This includes eyebrows, facial hair, arm hair, leg hair. I do have a few eyelashes right now. That's actually not very typical of me. I don't really have them that often, but they're here right now, so I'm just kind of taking the time to experiment with mascara and things like that while I have them. But I digress. So basically, alopecia universalis and all of its other forms are an autoimmune condition. And what that means is your immune system registers some part of your body as foreign and starts to attack it. And this mechanism of the immune system is really important for when actual foreign things like bacteria, viruses, you know, things like that enter your body, and then your immune system kicks in and tries to take care of the situation. Where in my condition, my body actually thinks that my hair follicles are foreign and something's wrong, they shouldn't be there. So the immune disorder results in basically my body attacking my hair follicles and destroying them. So in a much broader sense, it really is like my body is trying to destroy itself. And some autoimmune conditions are much more serious. They don't just affect something like hair follicles, they can infect organs, they can infect entire systems of the body. So I am, you know, very grateful that I haven't had that type of immune system, but just know that people out there do have much more serious autoimmune conditions out there. So alopecia is caused by genetic disposition. So it is entirely possible for me to pass down the genes that have basically created or manifested this condition onto my children, onto future generations. But it is a very complicated disorder. There are multiple genes that need to be working together in order to create this kind of disorder. So I might not pass them on as is. You know, future generations down the line might have the exact same combination that I have now. So I'm not necessarily afraid that I'm going to pass it on to my children. On top of genetic disposition, there's also this other side, which is environmental factors. So alopecia is not just caused by genes, it's also caused by the environment. And in order for your body to basically wake up the genes that cause the hair loss, there has to be some sort of environmental trigger. And for a lot of people, including myself, I never knew what that trigger was. I don't know if it was stress, I don't know if it was exposure to something, but to this day, I don't know what environmental trigger caused my hair loss to actually start when I was, 8 years old. The National Alopecia Areata Foundation, which is this overarching foundation that has many members, like pretty much all of the members of the organization either have some form of alopecia or have a loved one with alopecia. So this organization does research, they have conferences where people can meet up. It's a great source of comfort for people like me. Anyway, so this foundation estimates that about 6.8 million Americans have some form of alopecia. That could be areata, that could be male pattern baldness, which is actually a type of alopecia, totalis, universalis, and any other variations that are out there. So that kind of boils down to the fact that I have alopecia universalis, which is the rarest form of alopecia. So my condition is actually a small percentage of that already small percentage of 6.8 million Americans. It does sound like a large number, and sometimes it is comfortable knowing that multiple millions of people have some form of the condition that I do, but in the grand scheme of things, it pretty much is a very small percentage, and I am a smaller percentage of that percentage. It's very difficult to find statistics on people with alopecia universalis. I had a ton of trouble finding anything about the United States. I did find some statistics about the UK and other places in Europe, I believe, that I will definitely have listed down below if you're interested. But that's basically the gist of what alopecia is, the statistics involved, as well as the mechanism behind how it even comes to be. Glad I gave you a little science biology lesson there or whatever, but I'm going to go on to my unique story. This is why I'm here today. I want you guys to be aware of what I've been through. I want to share my story with you guys because I think it's going to be the lens through which the rest of my channel comes to be. I would like my videos to incorporate how my beauty routine has changed because of the way I look, or, things of that nature. So, to start out with, I think it's kind of funny to mention the fact that I was actually born with a really full head of hair. I can recall pictures of me as a newborn with like this huge head of hair, black, like jet black, straight, very thick. And so it's kind of ironic to me that being born with the thickest head of hair, I ended up losing it, 8 to 10 years later. And there really was nothing at the time before the onset that would ever indicate that that was something that was going to happen. It was, quite a surprise to my family and I. So when I was 8 years old, we discovered a bald spot about this big or so, probably like a little bit bigger than the size of, I'm so sorry, baby. Okay, so Chloe's here now. This is little Chloe. She's Ginger's twin. And yeah, they look nothing alike. They have their own distinct little personalities, but they're also, sisters and best friends and all that. So I guess she's going to hang out with us now. So basically it started out when my parents discovered a bald spot on the back of my head about like this big or so, maybe the size of a quarter, might have been a $50, something like that. And it was just perfectly circular, like unusually symmetrical, and that just kind of weirded them out a little bit. So we ended up going to a dermatologist in my hometown for more information on what could have been going on, and interestingly enough, he told my parents that I was pulling out my hair due to stress, which is incredibly irritating to think about even to this day, because knowing, you know, the way that the bald spot looked, coupled with the type of person that I am, coupled with my parents and I insisting that that wasn't the reason why it was happening, to come up with that conclusion is just unbelievably irritating. Like, that's the only word I can use to describe it. So after hearing this opinion that we just didn't think was correct at all, we decided to go to Kansas City to Children's Mercy to basically a specialist, someone who had a lot of experience and knowledge about hair loss, and she diagnosed me with alopecia areata, which is the patchy form of the condition. I honestly don't remember that day very well. I can imagine that it was really tough for my parents to hear that I could possibly lose all of my hair and there was nothing they could do about it. But I'm not sure that that realization really hit them until I started to lose more and more hair. And so the next couple of years were really tough for me because my hair started falling out really rapidly. Within the course of 2 years, my hair was thinning like crazy. It would come out in clumps in the shower. I would wake up and there would be clumps of hair on my pillow. I could just go like this and pull it out and there would be hair just coming out, coming out, coming out. And more than anything, I remember how much of a toll it took on my parents, who were desperately looking for remedies anywhere they could find, from, you know, ointments and treatments that we had learned about from doctors and medical professionals to, you know, natural remedies that we heard about from our relatives in India. We tried everything in between. And ultimately, I feel like we all suffered because of it, because none of the remedies worked. A lot of them caused rashes on my head. And after a while, it just seemed fruitless. I was tired of it, my family was tired of it, and so eventually we just let it go. We stopped trying to treat it, nothing was working, and by the time I was 10, my hair was thin enough that thin to the point where I only had hair in this area. It would just kind of I don't know, like sat over my scalp like this, and you could see my entire scalp underneath it. So I was like, what is the point of this? I'm tired of looking sick, I'm tired of looking weird. I might as well just shave it all off. So in November of 2005, I actually went to a salon with my mom, and a very kind lady went and shaved my head. And I was bald for the first time, and it was incredibly cathartic. Like, I can't even begin to explain to you the feeling of sweet relief and release. That finally it was gone. I never had to worry about, ooh, how many strands of hair are falling out today. I never had to worry about that again. And from then on, my mom and I really experimented with pretty much everything you can think of. We did hats, we did wigs, we did headscarves, and headscarves are the ones that I really clicked with. As you can see, I wear them every single day. I have a huge collection of them, and I really love headscarves because they really remind me of my mom and the unconditional love and support and work she put into helping me find a way to look that made me comfortable. And a lot of the scarves she's actually made. We would go to the fabric store, we would buy a big square of fabric, sometimes 3 feet by 3 feet, sometimes 4 feet, I don't know, however long it is. She should be able to tell you that. But then we would buy the fabric, she'd hem up the edges, and I would have, you know, a brand new scarf. So just wearing these headscarves really reminds me of her, and to me that's enough of a reason for me to continue wearing these, other than the fact that this is who I am. I feel super comfortable in these. They make me happy. They remind me that I can be vibrant and bright and cheerful, even, you know, facing a condition that makes me feel somewhat alienated sometimes. So, after, you know, 5th and 6th grade comes the tough times, middle school and high school. It was hard, for sure. My confidence definitely lessened steadily over time. Come high school, I was also experiencing a lot of acne and, like, sweating issues due to puberty, which basically my body image and self-confidence plummeted. I just did not feel good about myself whatsoever. I just was so uncomfortable and unsatisfied with the way I looked, and this carried on through most of high school. Top that with being incredibly hard on myself, like excessively hard on myself academically, to the point where I wasn't satisfied with anything I ever did. Combine all of those things and I pretty much sank into a really deep depression that went through to college. But the thing about college is that I was placed into a brand new environment with brand new people. I had a fresh start. I was really able to kind of see the greatness in myself and the fact that I was strong enough to adjust to a new environment. I was doing good in school. I was making friends, supportive friends, who really cared about me and were there for me. And it was really comforting to know that despite everything that I had been through, I'm capable of creating a healthy support system at home, in high school, with my family and my friends there, and I'm still capable of doing it at college as well. And that made me feel good about myself, that I could do those things. So it was really in college where I began to start loving myself, and let's be completely real here, like, I am not 100% there. I still experience depressive episodes pretty often, and I'm going to be open about that because mental health is something that should be talked about far more often. And I'm going to sit here and tell you guys that I'm not always, 100% happy with myself. Sometimes I wake up in the mirror and it's a real struggle knowing that, God, I still look like this, I'm still struggling with this, like, it's been over 10 years, like, cut me a break, universe, like, let me just look like everybody else so I don't have to think about it. But then I remember that I'm a much stronger person because of because of this condition, and I also know that the difficulties that I've faced and, all the lessons that I've learned along the way, I can pass that on to the kids that I'm working with now as a social worker. And to me, that's something that I didn't realize I'd be able to do early on in college until I became a social worker. And so now I'm extremely thankful for the experience that I've had, because I can really show that to my kids and be like, sure, I am extremely privileged. I am privileged in many areas, but I can definitely relate to you when it comes to feeling alienated, when it comes to feeling like you don't love yourself, or that you're always going to be stuck in this position of being dissatisfied with everything. There are ways you can grow out of it. I did, and I hope to be able to pass on that knowledge to my kids. What I've learned from this whole experience is that even in times of hardship, in times where you feel like you're never going to be pretty, you're never going to be wanted, as long as you realize that you're a good person, you're practicing kindness every single day, you're a hard worker, you get yourself up every single day, even if it's to eat something you haven't eaten in forever, or to take a shower because you're so depressed you couldn't step into the shower for a week. These little things add up to really create a strong person, and I've been in every single one of the situations that I've just mentioned. And so I hope that sharing my story today kind of provides some insight into the type of person that I am and what kind of energy I want to bring to this channel. If you guys have any questions at all about my alopecia, if you want more information, more resources, if you're someone with alopecia who wants to get connected with me or connected with others, I can provide those resources to you. So please leave any of those comments, questions, concerns in the comments below so that I can reach out to you guys and provide you with more information, because I'm happy to do that for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Chloe says thank you too. She loves being in front of the camera. But really though, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity and a platform to really speak my mind about what I've been through, and I hope that you're able to gain something from this, even if it's just knowing a little bit more about me and who I am. So thank you again so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. I have more content coming soon, I promise. And just thank you, and see you next time. Bye.